It's like making up posters for the live. Brian said,
Oh, I know. It's fabulous.
made me laugh.
It was a good selection of young fellas to represent us. I thought
Indeed.
that was pretty funny.
I'm gonna pin it.
Okay, so when are we gonna start this?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a minute.
It's already running.
Oh shit!
I thought you were kidding for a minute. Now I'm not sure if you were kidding or not.
I was kidding. Well, everybody, welcome to FFIB as Jason does the pinning duties for this evening on a wonderful Sunday evening, July 2nd. It's knife season. All seasons are knife seasons, but especially now it's knife season.
Knife season. That's what you
knife
got.
Season.
So
it's a
we're
season
opening
of
with
knives.
knife season.
Yeah, it's just really knifey time of year. Extra knifey.
It is the most knifey time of the year.
It's the most knifiest time of the year.
You know what the problem is? This is the time of year where you're trying to decide which one you're going to carry and why. Like depending on where you're going, right? Maybe you're going to dinner with the missus. It's a different knife than the one you're going to carry to the cookout. It's a different knife, perhaps, than the one you're going to bring to your in-laws' house where they don't like knives.
Well, it's true because the big difference in summertime is the variety of different pockets that make their way onto your body. Because sometimes shorts pockets, that gets a different knife than my jeans pockets. It just does.
Right. That Millie too. Probably not going to bring it in your stretchy shorts.
No, I'm just going naked with that Mama Jamma. Naked.
It's just going to yank your shorts down the whole time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have a knife big enough for Australia. It's too bad, Jake.
Whoa.
Subvert at the in-laws. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't subvert at the in-laws. That's you gotta be respectful, tasteful, subdued.
At one point, I had a solid 400 Spydercos, and every day I'd bring a different knife to work. After a while, people really stopped caring what color PM2 I had that day. But when I pulled a subvert out in the office, there was audible gasping, and rightfully so. That gets some attention. That turns some heads.
It's okay. It was designed by an Israeli who wanted to eat sausages. And they'll go, what? What are you talking about?
Oh, Mr. Gilman is joining us via YouTube today.
Oh, lovely.
If you all didn't know, we have a YouTube channel, which this is being simulcast onto right now as well.
I told a joke at work yesterday that was so sick, HR wants to hear it. Camp House is here. I showed some people that Dama Rosie, and they had no idea that knives come in a thing called Damascus. I thought everybody would know what Damascus was, but yeah, a lot of people don't know what that means.
Jake's Damascus, I don't know what that material is. I mean, I guess it's just Damascus steel. Have you seen his Rosie, the black one with the wild Damascus blade? It's got like texture to it though. It's got like
they all have a name that's really pretentious. It's like Mjolnir's pubes or something. For some reason, they all have some sort of Nordic name, which doesn't make sense considering Damascus. Where's Damascus? Is it Nordic? No.
Pakistan, no. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure it's not close to that. It's not. We don't need Viking names on our Damascus, but they kind of do that.
Every once in a while, some enterprising young Damascus maker from Pakistan will find his way into the group. And quickly I get a message and they quickly leave the group.
You ever seen any of Ed Shemp's Damascus?
Probably not. Oh, yes, with patterns and stuff in it.
I happen to have a piece here.
That's right.
And it's got spiders in it.
Oh man.
That's about as sick as they get. So if Rich Cox or Dan Tanner are watching, they'll know the story and how exactly he came up with the Spyderco Damascus, but I believe it was done for their 25th anniversary, if I remember correctly.
That's been a minute too, even.
I don't know, how do you even make it like that? How
I
do you
don't
make a
know.
Damascus to have a pattern in it that you deliberately intended? Like, I understand tripping on it and going, "Oh, look, it looks like Aurora
Looks like
Borealis."
Thor's butthole or whatever it is.
Right.
uh, yeah, I don't get
Not
it.
sure how.
It's kind of like when you sent me those the tie dye videos when tie dyeing t-shirts. They go, I spent 27 hours tying this t-shirt up, and then they take it out, and it's like a magical pattern. I'm like, how did you make that happen? How did you do that?
Yes, Damascus is in Syria. I wasn't gonna correct him. It's not in Pakistan, Tom.
No, but that's where lots of the Damascus makers come from, or Pakistan. The Damascus accounts that always hit me up on Instagram are Pakistani.
There is a rich and vibrant knife culture in Pakistan, shall we say. Yeah, lots of makers over there.
And Wazirbayet, Dad. That's where it is.
Well, Tom, we'll move into my favorite segment. What'd you get in the mail this week?
Me,
Anything cool?
I got a lot of knives to sharpen this week. That was
Yep.
cool. I'll take
Yep.
that. I got lots of knives to sharpen. I got some cool knives to sharpen, but I didn't get anything for myself.
Now, you're the kind of guy that likes what you're a man of exquisite passion, and you like what you like, and you don't like what you don't like.
That's
So
very true.
it tends to bring you down like one path where you're like, a lot of your knifing is done with a narrow range of styles of knives, but I
It
bet
is.
sharpening has opened you up to new stuff. Has it not?
You know, sharpening has deepened my love of the knives I already own.
I thought so.
Because I get, and no offense to anybody, I get these knives that are like really good knives, like legitimately really good knives. And I go, that's right. I still don't love a Sabenza. Like I sharpened one yesterday and I'm like, that was really cool. And I like taking a video of it. And it's a beautiful knife. And I'm like, and I handed it, Ted was over and I handed Ted the knife. I go, okay. And I told him what it was. And I go, see why I don't like this. And he tried to go, I can't open it. I go, I know. So I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I get to play with some pretty wild stuff. I had the wildest knife show up yet that I've ever had show up. And it's the only knife I have left to do at the moment. So I'm putting it off because it's kind of crazy. But this is something I can appreciate. It's not my style, but I think you'll appreciate it.
Whoa, that's sick. What is it?
It's a Freeman custom with a lot of stuff. Full dress
Jesus.
Freeman custom.
Yeah, I really like that a lot.
No one wanted to touch this knife. I offered this to everyone I know that sharpens. I'm like, you guys want to do it? You want to do it? He's paying well, and everyone's a little bit too scared. But I was like, he's paying well enough. I'm going to give it a shot. So I was kind of
I don't
worried
think
about
I'd be afraid to sharpen it.
its existing edge is kind of.
Is it like 28 degrees per side?
No, but it looks like someone tried to sharpen it already. So I'm on a salvage mission. Like it's okay, but the
Right.
things that I would worry about doing to it, it looks like it's been done. Like the heel's not quite perfect. And that was what I was worried about, ending a heel on a knife like this, because there's no choil. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It eats into that a little bit. It's not.
Yeah, those are really hard to clean up.
Yeah. So now I'm less worried about it since I know I don't have to be like perfect, but this is definitely the wildest thing that's shown up.
Do you know what Spartan does on their folders, Tom? They just stop sharpening the knife about half an inch from the end of the knife. It goes from sharp, nothing. They just don't sharpen it that far. That's their solution.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, it makes it difficult for me to sharpen the way I like to sharpen. It's not that it's not sharpenable, but I like to have lines and borders and things to be straight, and I don't like to taper things off so much. And
I think on a knife like that too, you don't want to chase like a 13 per side. You want to kind of keep it on the steep end so it's nice and clean, and really pretty, but not wide.
That one's tipped because the grind is so weird. Its tip bevel gets thick. So he wants it all mirrored. He wants it mirrored on the mirrored blade, and I think that makes total sense.
I agree. Ted says his thumb is still numb.
He's got good taste, that Ted. He goes through my collection and he picks things apart. He
That's why you
picks
like
things
it.
apart. He picks things apart like a man of much more years in this hobby. He's refined his taste quickly. He got
Good.
he had some side to side blade play on a knife we blade swapped because he flicked it a million times since then. And he came over today and got it repaired. We got it tightened up, and he got his own torque set ordered up and everything. He's ready to go.
Very nice.
Yeah. What did you get in the mail this week?
Probably my favorite thing I got in the mail was I got my Rips Garage Tech scales back.
Ooh.
So I bought those a while back, and I sent them in to Steve so that he could drill them for left-handed because they were not shipped left-handed. And he took care of that for me, got them back to me. I also got 2 sets of the new titanium screws from Rips Garage Tech. So if you guys don't know, RGT is now making their own screw sets, and they have Spyderco sets available. And I'm really excited about them because they feel great. They work great. They look good. To begin with, I'm going to try to hold this up and we'll all laugh at how it doesn't work right. To start with, all the screw heads are T8. So this is a T8, that's a T8, and then the clip screws are T8s.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
that's a wonderful change. There's no reason why that has to be a 10. It does look a little funny that it's such a big screw with such a small driver head, but if you didn't know it should have been a T10, it wouldn't bother you.
No.
The luster on the titanium is really pretty. So as you move it around, it kind of reflects light in different ways. It reminds me like a diamond, the way diamond luster has luster in it. The threads are super exact. So I found the first time I put them in, they were really tough. So I recommend cleaning out all the old thread lock before you replace them with his screws. As far as removing thread lock, one of the better ways to do it I found is one of these little dental tools. This one's made of plastic, so you can't hurt anything. But one of these little tools will scrape all the plaque out of there. So once I got that cleaned out, put it all back together, they're gorgeous. They look really nice.
Nice. They work. So, clip screws, I imagine, are the biggest difference, right? Because the clip screws are T8. They have a different shape profile head, right?
The head profile is more or less the same.
Okay.
They don't look that different. They're a little bigger, of course.
I thought I was looking at them in his own clip, and they flush out nicely on that clip.
Yeah, they're perfect for his clip.
Yeah.
But yeah, the feel across the top of the screw is wonderful. The threads are really bitey, and then having T8 pocket clip screws is way better. Put that over my forehead. So, yeah, the reason I like his tie scales so much is that they're weight relieved on the backside in a big way. So when the liner drops into the scale, it's not actually bottoming out on the scale. There's more titanium removed under that.
Yes.
So it's very skeletonized inside, which means they're very lightweight. So super flat. His stuff isn't warped. Certain tie makers have a hard time making flat titanium. He doesn't. So when you put the knife together, it's perfect. All the screws are tightened in all the way. I didn't have to back out anything to make them work right. They just fly open, drop shut. Pretty great.
The weird thing to me when I built this pair of 3 is the scales are so skeletonized that he actually removed a whole component of making a knife fit together, and that's making the liner fit perfectly snug. He just went like the liner doesn't have to fit snug. It just needs to fit over these screw holes. So like on my pair of 3, it's the liner can move around. It's so milled out that you're just screwing it where it needs to go, and it stays in place where it needs to go. It doesn't need to fit to a seam. It's just less weight.
I've learned from other scale makers there's such thing as too snug or too perfect.
Yeah.
And that creates fit problems later. You need to have a little bit of slop in that. Somebody posted some shamans earlier today with the scales were a little loose. The guy was concerned about it. And I was happy to see all the comments were like, it's not a problem, not a problem, not a problem. So I was worried everybody was going to run for the pitchforks and the torches.
Wait, was the shaman that was too tight? Is that what the problem was from the factory?
The liner was too loose in the scale.
Okay.
So he was perceiving that to be a problem, but the advice was good. Watch band tools work good for cleaning threads too. Yes, they do. Yep. The watch band thing is like a little fork
Oh
It's a
yeah,
tiny fork.
I got a bunch of those little dangerous pointy things around here somewhere. In a box, I have a bunch of. When I was into watches, like really, I was like changing bands all the time. I have a box of pins that I have come in every single size, like every millimeter differences. I dropped them one time.
Oh no.
So now I just have a pile of pins.
They're in a drawer.
You find one that works in there.
So another one I got in the mail today. This one just showed up today. This is the PM2 S90V with the teal blue
Ooh,
handle.
nice.
And this teal is really good color. It's just the perfect amount of blue and the perfect amount of green. It's a nice light blue color. Very pretty.
That's a cool knife.
I had thought about putting this in some different scales, but I like the color so much. I think I'm going to leave it for a while.
I mean, I think it's very. It looks cooler in person than it does like on video or on tape. Like you don't pick up the blue as much as you do, like in person. I feel like as you do in
Right.
the pictures. Um, we took Ted's and sanded his down so it was smooth, and I mean, it really brought the color out. Like it made it look really nice.
I'm starting to get a lot of knives in this color.
Oh wow. The coolest thing about that blade though is that steel, because that steel has not been available for over 10 years in a plain satin blade in a PM2 platform, which is pretty important.
So if you think about why it's called 90V, it's 9% vanadium.
9%.
So what do we know about 15V and 10V, Tom?
That's a number that's vanadium also.
It's a number that's vanadium content. That's right. So at 9% vanadium, it's a lot of vanadium. And vanadium is the most desirable of the carbides because they're the highest in hardness, and they're also small. So the reason S90V is such a good blade steel is that the edge retention's sick, and that all comes from the vanadium in there. So when you cook it right, it comes out super sharp. It stays super sharp, and the hardness is not ridiculous on S90V either. Like I think peak hardness is in the low 60s rather than the mid to high. So it's not a steel that's like Maximate where your stones don't even work anymore.
No, it's not even that hard to sharpen. I mean, with good stones, everything sharpens, so I kind of lose perspective of it. But it's not impossible by any means. It's just like another
Yeah.
steel.
Yeah, not too brittle. People like to say certain steels are chippy and certain steels aren't. I've never heard anybody say S90V is chippy, but in terms of edge retention, it's still one of the top steels in the industry. It's been around since the 90s, I think. So really nice steel. Is S110V 11% vanadium? As soon as I pick up my phone, I'll find out. I believe it is.
Interesting.
The problem with S110V is it's also extremely high in chromium content.
No, it's 110%, Jason. That's
so the one thing you'll know for sure from Laren Thomas is that 110V 110V actually has a lower edge retention than 90V. So S90V and S110V both have 9% vanadium.
Ooh. So
110V has more chromium. Looks like it also has niobium, more molybdenum, and more carbon.
I swear every time I look at one of those charts that they add a new element that I've never heard of before. They're just making shit up. Molybdenum?
Molybdenum. I don't remember that one from high school. Sharpening S110V is a poop. I agree. I don't like sharpening that one. That one's annoying. It's been a long time since I did it, and I have better sharpening equipment now. I might like it better, but that one always gave me fits. Still trying to figure out if 4V is better for harder use. Depends on what you mean by that. It is a tougher steel than most. So if you want a steel that is less likely to chip, that's your steel. If you put a 20 degree per side on 4V, you'll have a hard time damaging it with normal knife activity. It's going to be a really tough knife. Yep. There's a reason why S90V is always used on those sprint runs. It's because, Eric and Sal both really like that steel and recognize how good it is.
I just think it doesn't get its time in the spotlight because it's just been around. It's been around, so people know what it is. So it's not exotic anymore. It just doesn't have the new hot flavor or that cool name like Maximate. So it doesn't get all the accolades that it deserves.
For PM2s, by the way, there's only been a handful of knives that have used it, so it's pretty scarce on that platform.
There's been the 2012 carbon fiber sprint run with S90V satin blade, which is a 2012 release, which is the only S90V satin blade without words on it, because the only other one they've done is a 2018 Forum knife that says 2018 Forum knife written on the blade, which is pretty cool.
So the 2012 model, there aren't very many of those out there either.
No,
so that leaves you with the coated one.
Yeah, those ones have the old grind style too, and the asphalt ground edge.
Yeah, Spyderco's definitely improved their edge on the newer models. That's gotten way better. All that chromium carbide is no bueno in S110V. I agree. That's the magic of MagnaCut, by the way, is that the chromium is relatively low, but it's still very stainless. When you put that much chromium in 110V, it makes it super stainless, but it also can make it brittle. But guys, if you're looking for a knife that's going to be super stain resistant, right below M390 is 110V. So really, really good for sweaty oceanside cutting. I'm EDC and Maxima PM2. I can get it sticky sharp with my KME. I think he means can't. Yeah. I can't get it sticky sharp. I know from what I've heard from like Michael Christie, you have to be careful with your coarser stones when it comes to Maximate, because if you use something like a 140 or an 80 on Maximate, it can pull the carbides out of the edge. So you want to, if I remember the way he described it, you kind of want to spend a lot of time on the higher stones in order to make sure that you're sharpening it without destroying the edge. Isn't that the way you told it, Tom?
It makes sense. For me, what I've learned on a Maxima is I just stop mirroring it. I mean, I just take it to 400 grit now. I take a 150 and a 400 grit CBN stone, and I have my two sharpest knives are actually Maxima. And they're not mirrored. They're nothing special looking. There's some nice clean satin bevel, but they're very sharp because I stopped at 400. And then I did very little stropping. Stropping can really, if you do too much stropping, which is what I always used to do because I want it shinier and shinier, you're slowly making it duller at the same time. So it gets better until it gets worse, right? When you strop.
Yeah, I agree. So Maximate is better toothy. It's better to stop at 400 or 600. You don't want to go a lot higher than that typically. I'm not saying you can't, and I'm not saying there aren't guys that can do it. I'm saying that for most of us out here that are using Maximate, you're going to want to keep it toothy.
In my experience, when I mirrored Maximate, I can make it sharp, but it actually dulls noticeably, like fairly quickly.
I recommend keep maintaining Maximate versus letting it go dull. I don't know anyone who has let it go dull. I don't know that you can. I've only sharpened Maximate because I wanted to, never because I needed to.
I either because I want to or because it has a chip in it. That's pretty common for me.
Yeah. I think Greg's done more sharpening than both of us. Greg, do you have any tips for Maximate? What's your approach on Maximate? Do you do anything different or do you do the same thing? Weekly update on this Tiger. No update. Got no update. Sorry. What else is going on, Tom?
I kind of knives. I missed out on a knife. I missed out on a knife. I
You did.
didn't need it, but one of those brown knives, was it LHC minis? Is that what it is? Is that his new knife, the LHC or LFC?
Who are we talking about?
Brown knives, the button lock one. The Dan Hawkins has some of. LHD. What is it? 3 letters. FSD.
Oh, the mini FSD.
Yeah, the mini FSD.
Is
He
it
just did his
discontinued?
last run of those, so like they just dropped on Friday, and I think that model's done. And that was one that I was like, it was in here. I was like wanting to get it, but I figured I was going to get it eventually. But no, he did his last run, so they're done with that model. He's going to make something new now.
I could see you really liking that knife.
Yeah,
especially the mini. The big one's too big. Yeah, Greg says for Maximate, you want to touch it up and start at high grit. Yeah, it's better to start at a high grit and just take your time than it is to go low grit. Go too low on Maximate, and you'll end up with a dull edge by the time you're done. Yeah, Eric told us that we're going to see Rex 121 from Taichung, not from the U.S. But he promised it on a Sage 5 lightweight. Or no.
Sage 5. It was a Sage 5. It was a Sage something.
It'll probably be the same knife as the Maximate, right? The G10 handled Maximate Sage.
Maybe, but
I know he said Sage. The rest of it I'm making up. I don't know which Sage.
Sage. It'll be Sagey.
I kind of want it on the G10, not on the lightweight. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I like the compression lock on the lightweight compared to the
lightweight knife's better. That's for sure. But the other one's I don't know. That knife deserves to be dressed up in something nice.
Yeah,
I would like a Rex 121 Capara. I'd be all right with that.
You wouldn't ever dull it.
Sage 5 lightweight is what he said. I'm good with it. Do I like mirroring S45 EN? Sure. Nothing wrong with it. You can mirror it. It looks beautiful. 35 and 45 both mirror really nice. They're relatively easy to mirror. And then you can maintain those steels. So those steels you can maintain with a strop. You don't have to sharpen. You don't have to keep sharpening them. As you notice that they're not as sharp as they used to be, you can put them back on a strop and you can make them sharp again most of the time.
There is some caution I would like to mention about maintaining with the strop. So this is a knife I sharpened yesterday, and I haven't talked to the owner about exactly what they did, but you can see how the edge is kind of shiny above the edge.
Yeah, it's sharp. It's shiny on the flat versus
it's shiny on the flat because. So that's something to be careful of when you're stropping. Pay attention to your angle, because if you drop it down and touch the thing, you're going to polish your blade and you'll see that your edge just kind of doesn't end. It just kind of floats off into the flat of the blade. So that's one
I've
thing.
I've done that on DLC before. It's awful.
Yeah. So you can see this is a shiny ribbon. That's just something to be careful about. And the other thing this knife had is I don't think they were super careful with the angle. This was maybe the dullest knife I've ever sharpened in my entire life when I got it today.
Wow.
I had to reprofile it up to 18.5 from 17 just to get the edge back, but the edge was like, it was gone. I sharpened it for a half hour with my CBNs. I go, it's got to have a burr by now. It's got to. Like, maybe I'm not feeling it because it's on BD1N or I'm not experienced with it. No, it was still butter knife. It was like, no, you haven't had a burr yet. Just keep on going. So stropping to maintain can get you sharp, but can also dull your knife. So to do it correctly, when you're stropping, your knife should be at the same angle as the bevel is. So the bevel should be flat.
Yep.
And to do that, you lift the edge and you push in. You push until it bites. And when it bites, you're at the angle. And then you can strop. So take your time when you're stropping. You don't need to do it fast. You need to maintain the angle, though, if you don't want to make your knife look like you missed it.
Are your strops made of kangaroo or Bathaclopian?
These I think are cow. And then
cow? How dare you?
And then I think and these ones are kangaroo.
Okay.
But I don't ever use my plated ones. I just use my hand strop ones.
If you ever get to hang out with Scott Gunn in person, he's got these little plastic containers that he carries with him in a bag, and he has all these different strops with all the different compounds on them, and they're all the plated kind, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like he's got little mini Homer Simpson glasses, and he goes and he pulls out the one he's looking for, and then he goes and then he hands you back the knife, and it's the sharpest damn thing you've ever held.
Wait, who's this? Scott who?
Scott Gunn.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yep. He'll go, hold on, I gotta find this one strop. And then he'll pull it out. It's awesome.
He was trying to get me to start belt sharpening, which was surprising to me at Blade Show.
I figured out why you want a belt sharpener.
It's fast.
Dude, I decided to sharpen my old ass German kitchen knives, the Henkels.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, put a 10-inch like chef's knife on a cadet and then sharpen it with Venevs. It takes hours.
Yeah.
Hours. These were really, really dull because I've been using a sharp maker to keep it going.
Yeah.
So the edges aren't like this, they're more like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was like, I'll just reprofile it while I'm at it. Screw it. It won't be long. I shouldn't have given away my my beast stone, I guess. Because if I had the beast, it would have been no time. But I gave away my beast, so it just took forever. Like
Yeah.
I think it took me 2.5 movies to sharpen that damn thing. And I didn't go that high either. I stopped at 400.
Yeah. Because on chef's knives, you don't want it to be smooth because you want it to like grab food so you can cut it when you're slicing through it.
Yeah, you want it to be like little saw teeth.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're going to go super, super small on your grit, it works better on a balsa strop.
I've been doing a lot. I mean, in general, I do a lot less stropping, but I have all the Gunny emulsions, but with my CVN stones, I really only use 3.5 and on leather paddle strops. I don't know. It just works so well. It's like amazing what comes out of there. Like you put it down, swipe it a couple times, and you pick it back up, and it's like, where did that come from? How did that was magic. How did that happen? And then I have all these other ones to go through, and I'm like, I don't even need to because this is like better looking than anyone else can possibly expect to see. Oh, it's pretty crazy.
I sharpened 3 PM2s this week, and now I don't know where they went. I sharpened a 15V because I keep hearing about how you got to sharpen it, got to try it. It sharpens so good. And then the heel removal took forever.
Oh, really? Yeah. You can do that.
I'm just scared, I think. It just takes me too long. I imagine you just, I'm worried about scratches. Like one scratches right up there against the Ricasso, it's hard to get rid of them. But you just fire it out until it's gone, right?
I would say I am better than the average person at doing heels. They get worse before they get better, and that's the scary part, I think, for people. Is because you start grinding at them and they start looking ugly, and you just got to keep on grinding until it looks pretty, and that can be scary because sometimes it looks like you're fucking it up, but you're really it's just part of the process of working it all from the back forward. So you work, it's like it works the very end of the heel because it's obviously the highest part, but then it's a 1/4 inch in front of the heel. There'll be like a divot always where your stones.
Yes, the divot, the freaking divot drives me crazy.
So then you just have to grind it. You just sit there and grind and grind and grind and grind until that divot's gone. It's always there.
So I like using, I'm drawing a drawing. You guys are going to be amazed at how good my drawing is.
Whoa.
I like using red Sharpie when I color an edge because it's easier to see. Blue's even better, but I don't have a blue one. Red on the edge works better than black because as you're sharpening, you can see whether there's any left, especially at the apex.
Yeah.
If you see a little bit of a red line along the apex, you know you haven't done it yet. But what happens is you end up with something like this.
Yes, exactly.
There's always a little spot right there, and you keep working at it, and you keep it gets a little smaller and a little smaller and a little smaller. And I'm always like, I'm gonna ruin this if I keep working on this stupid spot.
Nope.
You got to keep going, don't you?
Doing it. You just keep on doing it. It's scary, but eventually they turn out perfect.
The other solution is you just strop the shit out of it when you're done. Just buff it. You can buff that little area until it's all shiny.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too particular. My level of expectations, I never miss a scratch like I missed a scratch 2 days ago. but I didn't notice it until I was done. I'd stropped it. I took a video, sent the guy a video. I noticed the imperfection in the video. I'm like, oh shit.
There it is. I found it.
The divot.
No, this is the one I sharpened.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yep, I
Wait,
put it in the Radar G10 two-tone with a black pivot. Guys, if you don't have these yet from Cutlery Shop, I highly recommend it. The texture of the G10 is awesome. They're not the way Chris did these is they're milled all the way across the surface, so there's no more peel ply.
okay.
Peel ply texture is gone. But yeah, I pretty happy with the edge on that. So now I have a 15 DPS 15V.
Nice.
It just took me a minute to remember which scales I put on it.
How do you test when you're done sharpening? What do you do to see how sharp something is? What's your method?
I'll find an old catalog. I've got a Uline catalog, you know, the company that sells shipping supplies.
Yeah.
I'll tear a page out of it and then I tint it and I see if I can push cut through it.
Nice.
If I can push cut through a thin piece of, you know, catalog, then I feel pretty good. And then I'll try to do like a swirl, or as I'm pulling through the paper, I'm feeling for any resistance along the way.
Yeah. That's
so
really
that'll
all
tell
I
me
do.
if there's a dull spot.
I'm just looking for snags. That's my biggest thing. It's just that happens every like 10 knives. Will just be like a little
Yeah.
snag.
Yeah.
Or chip I didn't notice that I had to get out more of.
Another thing I use, guys, that I find really helpful is I've got a little magnifier. So it's a 60-to-1 magnifier, and it has a light bulb in it. If I can find the switch. So I can put the edge right here, and I can look down on it, and it allows me to look at the edge, and I can really inspect it. I can see whether or not I've apexed it. I can see if there's any Sharpie left along the edge. Also, there are times you're sharpening, maybe you had a little too much bourbon while you're sharpening. It's not a great idea. And then you'll find out that there's a whole spot on the belly that you didn't even hit. Because when you're looking at it, you go, oh, wow, this looks terrible. I need to keep going. So I mess up fewer knives since I started using this to look at them.
Yesterday, I was sharpening, and I had eaten a Rice Krispie treat earlier that day, and I had to immediately cease sharpening in the middle of operations. So I'm like, I think it is time to pack it up right now and go take a nap. That was sitting in my sharpener this morning.
Use the KME strop attachment. Does it work well? So Tom always strops by hand, and I always strop on the system. I prefer stropping on the system because intuitively, I know I'm not going to mess it up. I have messed up plenty by trying to do it by hand. I need to do a few more by hand so that I don't mess them up anymore because I'm not any good at it. But if it's on the system, you know the angle is going to be right. You can destroy a strop real fast if you try to go this way instead of working your way perpendicular to the edge. So make sure you only pull and you only go perpendicular.
That was something that, like, when I got my KME, so I got maybe I got one with a different guy. I had some lapping films somehow, but I had lapping films. Maybe it was for my Edge Pro. And I didn't understand that you just do pull strokes on it. So I was putting these lapping films on metal blanks and just sharpening. Like, why isn't this not working? My dull knife, it keeps on slicing off these lapping films. Yeah, just one way.
I wonder if I can. Nope. Shit. I was going to post a picture in the chat while we're doing live, but it won't let you do it.
Oh, I know.
Trailing edge strokes. Yes. I have KME, and the strop inserts are actually thinner than the stones. So if that's the case, double check the angles before using it. Great tip, Jake.
So in general, this is something that doesn't get talked about enough. When you are sharpening and you're using even the same types of stones. So here's my cadet. This right here is called a stone thickness compensator. So this is the same thickness as my stones. Like, you shove a stone in there and then adjust the height, and that's how thick your stones are. So all of my stones for this brand, these capstones, are the same thickness. So
Are you
I
sure?
don't need. Yes, I measured them, laid them all
Wow.
out. They're metal bonded.
My Venevs are not the same. They're close, but they're not the same.
No, Venus are definitely not. But when you're sharpening, your stones can be a little bit different thicknesses. They can be out of flat, they can have bellies, whatever. But if you're switching to completely different stones, like if I was to put my strop on, that's much different. So I need to adjust that stone thickness compensator to account for the change in thickness. And all you do is you stick this in here and you go, well, the new height's this, so it drops this much down to the vertical height to match this much drop in the vertical height.
Yep.
So if you're stropping, make sure you try to keep it at the same angle. Some people say like go at a less angle to try to attack the tip a little bit, whatever. But just make sure in sharpening in general, when you're switching media, that you're taking into thickness into account, because a little bit makes a big difference. I do like my little kit now. It looks so cute.
Do you?
My little cute kit. So
Oh, I need that.
So here's my half stones, 80 through 8,000, and then strops 3 through 0.1 micron. That'll do anything.
Someday.
Yeah, it's easier when you can make an excuse that you have to do it to make money.
Yes.
It's easier to spend money on my hobby so I can attempt to make it back.
Yeah, definitely. So what else do we need to talk about? Let's see. Yeah, so I got this in the mail. I got the PM2. So this was a distributor exclusive. So if you guys don't know, there are dealers, and dealers order directly from Spyderco, but then there are also something called distributors that are also known as jobbers, right? The distributor is a big company that sells things wholesale to dealers. So the distributor exclusive is a knife that they designed and then they redistribute to their dealers. So the reason you're seeing this exclusive at a lot of different dealerships is because of the fact that it came from the distributor. So technically it's not a store knife, right?
Yeah,
So I got mine from Cutlery Shop, and I think you might still find them there, or he might be out. I don't know. I have to look and find out.
They're at multiple dealers, but not all dealers. It's not like a sprint run where every dealer is mandated some. It's only if they order from MGE where they can get that exclusive.
Right. So if you didn't order it from MGE, if you don't order it from MGE, then you can't have it. And it being an exclusive, you guys know how that is. Like reordering an exclusive is not possible at the moment. It's tough. So if you want it, you better get it, or be prepared to buy one on the secondary.
And I'm standing by my statement that if you are looking to customize a PM2, this is the greatest PM2 to customize that's ever been released, because it is really cheap and it's S90V. And you can dye the scales if you want to dye the scales. It's got everything. It's got the whole customizer's package right there.
I've used lapping films for a while now, and I like them a lot. You have to be prepared to throw them away when they're worn out. And usually you can get like 4 or 5 knives out of a lapping film, and then you need to be okay with throwing it out. So luckily for you, when you reorder lapping films, they come in a pack of 6, so it doesn't hurt as much. But I find myself having to go through those from time to time. They do work really well. I do notice that you might have a stone that says 1200 on it, and then you buy a lapping film that says 1500. And more than once, I've gone from my 1200 stone to my 1500 lapping film, and I'll find that it gets more satiny with the 1500 than it was with the 1200 on the stone. And that's because the effectiveness of will vary regardless of the number. So the number doesn't tell you everything. So I do like the lapping films. I don't know if Tom's ever tried them.
I just tried them when I was slicing them into little shreds before I knew it. I haven't tried them since I've known how to effectively use them, I guess.
Yeah.
So my experience with stropping is far greater than lapping films by hand.
I like lapping films in that you can use them wet. The water doesn't affect the lapping film. But there is something to be said about the diamond emulsion on the strop, because what happens is the strop, even if it's really, really dense leather, it has a little bit of give to it. So the lapping film tends to leave like little sharp lines of improvement, whereas the strop tends to take little fatter bites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that there's benefits to both, but it's a matter of trying to figure out which one works for you the best.
But I think these are great because you can use them to spank your kids when you're done. I mean, it's great.
Whatever. Spank your monkey.
That's more likely. I just enjoy doing it by hand. I don't know. It's fun. I don't know how people use like the smaller strops in this. Like to me, a strop needs to be about this big because this is how much real estate it takes for me to go from the tip to the heel and the whole knife. Like I like this size of strop just because I like that much real estate. It feels good instead of doing.
Yeah, tiny strops. I don't know what to do with them. Derek, I'm going to be honest with you right now. I don't have the first idea about cleaning a strop when they're too dirty to use. I don't know. I do
think it's like
know
hot
that
dog water. It just gets better with age. Like the more hot dogs you put in hot dog water, the more hot dog it becomes.
that's what I was thinking. I do know for sure that I use an awful lot of diamond emulsion on one strop, and if I had to rinse it clean and start over, it'd be expensive. So I don't know the answer to that. I feel ashamed to say I don't know. I know I've never used my strop to the point where I felt like I needed to clean it.
I feel like they just get like more tanned and more worn in and more feels like they get character. I don't know. This has been used a ton of times. It's got you can see how it's got shiny spots on it where it's been rubbed raw, but still works perfectly fine. I just put new Guy juice on it today. Well, this is unfortunate. I'm bleeding, and I didn't even pick up a knife to do it. And if I did, I didn't even notice it. But I'm bleeding on camera again. It's been
You're
a minute.
bleeding?
Like kinda. I kind of like made it go away a little bit with this, but it just started bleeding. I don't know if I cut myself in the show, but I am bleeding.
You've handled a couple knives. It could have been from that.
Could have been that, I guess.
Military twos. I don't know what's up with those. Seems like they're coming.
They
Are they in
put them
dealers yet?
in. I swear they put them in last month's. Yeah, it was last month's Spidey email, whatever that thing's called. Spyderco email they send out. So it's been out long.
They're in the bite.
Yes. So it should have been out.
Also been available at. They've been available at the Spyderco store, right?
Yeah, right? Or just a Blade show.
They had a combo edge in the store the other day.
Oh, okay.
Thinking about might regret this later, but I'm thinking about sending my Millie to Ripplinger so we can get some scales for those things.
Start it off. Just go. Just why not?
I'm just gonna do it. I won't miss it.
You put it back together, right?
Yep. Greg says a few are trickling out. The Millie 2 is just bad to the bone. I'm sorry. It's awesome. I hate when people say I'm sorry and they're not sorry. I don't mean I'm sorry.
Sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Thing's badass.
It really is.
It's just a big PM2. It's more. I already love a PM2, and it's more of a PM2.
I think my favorite part is how, I don't know why, it's just how short this is here, like this vertical dimension, how it kind of narrows up there, and it's a nice little pinch grip. It's good ergonomics for a big
Indeed.
knife.
Yeah, Steve said he'd start making scales as soon as he got one. He doesn't have one yet, so
he's been good at pumping out new projects too. He's ripping stuff out. Like not that long ago, I said you should make titanium native scales, and then
I don't know when he sleeps.
Later, he had titanium native scales.
Yep. Lamia is getting a couple of new show skills made. Nice. Let's see. This week,
It's 4th of July week.
It is 4th of July week, Tom. Let's talk about 4th of July.
Let's do it.
Yeah, this weekend I went to my mother-in-law's birthday party, which we do because her birthday is July 4th.
Oh,
and we had it this weekend, so it was a giant cookout. Lots of food, lots of fun. Had a great time.
That's good. What was the?
That's now for the 4th? I don't know what we're gonna do.
What is the star of the cookout though? What is the food that's everyone's like after at the cookout at the Beatties?
So at that party, the hors d'oeuvres are just as good as the meal. But yeah, my brother-in-law definitely goes all out. So
deviled eggs. Are we talking deviled egg action?
Someone always brings this unbelievable honey mustard dip, and it's like fresh honey mustard dip.
Yeah.
So it's not from a jar; it's fresh, and it's unbelievable. Everybody just stands around like just dipping pretzels in it, eating it. And the dip gets all over the counter. So that's a big hit. There's almost always fried chicken. My brother-in-law is on the grill grilling up meat, so that's good. But yeah, then the take-home boxes. My sister-in-law always makes a big stack of take-home boxes, and she just crams them in your hand when you're walking away. So
nice.
Yeah, end up leaving with a lot of food.
That's fun.
What do you guys do for the 4th?
We used to do. Me and Kim, before kids, would ride my scooter down to a bridge in Portland over the river in downtown and just watch fireworks there. We haven't done that since we had kids, so it's been 4 years now. So this year we're going to the beach on the 5th of July because Kinsley's birthday, my 2-year-old daughter, turns 2 on the 5th. So this year, I don't know where I went on the actual 4th, but we're celebrating the week starting on the 5th, and we're going to the beach and stay in a hotel, and that's going to be her birthday present and our big celebration for the week. So
very nice.
I'm going to try to enjoy the beach because I never get to go to the Oregon coast when it's hot outside because it's very rarely hot. It's not even going to be hot there. It's hot here, but it's warm there. But try not to get a bad sunburn. That's my goal because I got the worst sunburn of my life last time I went to the coast and tried to enjoy myself and like be out on the beach and relax. My legs turned, no joke, black. It was, I probably should have gone to the doctor. It was kind of bad.
You know, they sell a device for helping with that, right?
A topical ointment.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Wasn't expecting it. So I'm going to be a little more prepared and try to enjoy my time on the beach in the sun.
So the sun is probably like 10 times more intense when you're by the water because it comes from the sky and then it also comes from the water, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to cook you quick. Like,
oh yeah.
Reapply it once an hour.
But we were talking about doing fireworks, and me and Kim were like, I haven't seen any fireworks stand. Well, we looked it up, and they're illegal in Portland now as of last year. So, so that's why there's no fireworks
break
because the apartment not very far from here burned down last year. So they go, that's it, no more fireworks. They're illegal in Vancouver.
Open air drug market, no problem. Fireworks, no, illegal.
Yeah, well, the open air drug market just cause fires too underneath the bridge.
Right. That's good government. Yeah, back when I was a little kid, you used to have to sign a affidavit saying that you either worked for the railroad or you were taking the fireworks out of state, or you were going to use them to signal trains. I think those are the only 3 reasons you're allowed to buy them. So everybody's just like scratching Herbie Hancock on the form and buying their fireworks.
Everyone works for Union Pacific around here. It's crazy.
You're right. Now it's at the point with in Indiana where you can buy almost anything. You can get all kinds of like anti-aircraft stuff, just howitzer, military grade. I don't know what it is. It's crazy, and so it can get pretty loud. Pretty loud.
I'm not gonna miss like random. Hey, guess what? It's 12:01 a.m. on 4th of July. Let's start shooting shit off for the rest of the week. I'm not gonna miss the random fireworks going off. Hopefully, as much as in previous years.
I have a call to action for all of you. If you're scrolling through your socials and you come across that one person that likes to scold America for celebrating the 4th of July because their pet doesn't like it, just unfollow or unfriend that person. Report their profile. Good grief. These people are so miserable. They have to
Did
tell
you hear
you.
that? That was a mortar. A mortar just went off outside.
I'm hearing some outside my window too at the same time. That's funny. But yeah, the people that have to tell you not to have fun because their pet doesn't like fireworks, I don't understand.
No.
I can't help you.
No. If you are the person also that goes to a fireworks event and not only brings your phone, but brings your iPad so you can record the event on your iPad as you watch the fireworks through the iPad, blocking my view of said fireworks, you suck. Because when I did go down to the bridge in Portland, half the people would be standing there in my way. I'm like, you're never going to. I could record any fireworks show ever and show it to you, and it'd be just as meaningful as you watching these random fireworks. You won't know the difference.
Right. You're going to have an underwhelming viewing experience watching the fireworks display after the fact.
Yeah. And you're going to ruin while it's happening.
Fireworks or firearms. That's sad. You can tell by the velocity of the explosion, guys. Slow velocity explosions go boom, and firearms go crack or bang. All right, Jake, we get it. You've got a badass plane. We get it. Humble brag.
So now that we're everyone here is cool, right? We're not gonna no narcs here. So
no one's watching.
Okay. When you were a kid, did you used to take Piccolo Pete's and smash them up with a hammer to break all the gunpowder up, and then take the gunpowder and put it in a 2-liter bottle, and then put a little fuse in it and go? Did you ever do that?
I knew a kid that used to take his Crazy Jacks and cut them open, and his Black Cats, and then take the little bit of gunpowder out and then put them in a bottle, and then tried to pack it, and then put a fuse in it, and nothing happened. Oh, I think I spent 15 hours cutting open Crazy Jacks, and it just wasn't worth it.
You get Piccolo Pete's because they're just a solid gunpowder, and you smash them up with a hammer when you're in 6th grade, and then you don't even have to pour it out. You just tape up the Piccolo Pete, and you shove it in a 2-liter bottle, and then tape the entrance. Oh, it blows up so loud. I might want to do that this year if I can find them up in Washington. Wow, it was fun.
That's how you celebrate America.
Big. I am not allowing my kids access to fireworks and lighters like I was allowed access to in 5th grade. I don't know how I didn't burn, how I have all my fingers.
I am building a carbide cannon, a tennis ball cannon.
Ooh, that's fun.
I found a place to get calcium carbide, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to take my daughter and the neighbor kids out, and we're going to launch some tennis balls in the air.
That's fun.
Yep. Tannerite. Yeah, man. I want to go somewhere where I can play with tannerite. Well, Tom, that's all I got, really. I think I'm going to spend the rest of the evening eating my lollipops from Cutlery Shop.
Oh, weird. You got some of those?
Yeah, I got some lollipops. I got some flight tags.
Ooh.
The new white and orange is interesting. It's like a creamsicle.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool. What are you going to do this evening?
I'm not going to sharpen knives. I don't feel like doing this Freeman tonight, but I want to sharpen knives, but I don't feel like sharpening that one. I need full concentration for that one.
I have a feeling this is Scott Gunn. Scott, before we go, tell us when you should clean your strops. When are they so dirty that you need to clean them?
Or is that Ryan Harrell?
They're both in Oklahoma, right?
I thought Scott was in Nebraska. I thought he was in Omaha.
Dan's talking to Scott Gunn here, so
okay.
I'm hoping it's him. We got to give it a 10 Mississippi because you guys are not live with us right now. There's a tape delay, and then also got to wait. Oh, that's Victor. All All right, this is turning into
Anarchist
sort of-
Cookbook FFIB episode.
some sort of handbook that we're not supposed to talk about. All right. So yeah, we're gonna potato launcher. You know, Tom had a potato launcher in college.
You did?
I know you did. You had to.
No, my uncle did. The
Your uncle did?
who lived next door to me, who's the one who always had the cool illegal fireworks from the Indian reservation. He had the potato gun, so we'd go next door and play on his farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But they are fun.
Well, guys, I think that's it for this week. Look for any announcements on upcoming releases from Tom. There's a pinned post at the top of the group, I believe, that has all the upcoming releases, all the availables. Do you still have the available post?
Yeah, I think I just put. I don't know if it's pinned, but I did one like in the last week or two. So there's one out there.
Yep. So there's an available post to tell you what exclusives are available. I know Knife Joy's got a couple on sale right now, so might go check that out.
Yeah, I saw someone post about. I'm not sure the details, but some Knife Joy club or insider program, something. Someone said there was some good deals on Knife Joy coming up.
Discounted exclusives. It's a pretty good deal. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being here. We will talk to you next week. That's Tom. I'm Jason. We're Finger Flicked and Boxed. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Bye.